Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've done a couple of reviews lately on a few pieces of equipment I own. Today I want to talk about the Husqvarna motorcycle and go over the things I do like about them, the things I don't like about them, my worries, my plans, and our riding style. I'll try to include a few random clips of some of our riding, mostly in Moab, onto this video, short and quick, so you get an idea of what we've put these bikes through, especially since we've first bought them. We hit the trails as hard as we could with the new bikes. Gold bar rim, Pritchett, behind the rock trail, just to name a few that we have conquered. Cane Creek, that we conquered on these bikes pretty much right out the gate to break them in. This is my FE350, which I just washed. They're 2018. This is my wife's 2018 FE250. So we got the 250 and the 350 here. And I told her one day when I was going down to the dealer, which is about 2 hours away, I told her I'm going to be looking at this Husqvarna FE350. I needed a new bike. My previous bike, I was riding a YZ426F. Favorite bike in the world, but it was time. I had my eyes on this FE350 or the 350 Husqvarna for years, ever since the Husky started becoming the new big thing. Why do we choose the Husqvarna over a KTM? Quite a few reasons, but there can only be so many reasons because they're such similar bikes. Looking at the KTMs, our KTM dealer is actually about 15 minutes away, which would have made a lot more sense, but I trust the KTM dealer to service these Husqvarnas if need be, and they carry most of the parts that I need. Oil filters are the same as the KTM, and lights are the same, and yeah, very similar bikes, as most of you watching this video know. But we wanted the Husqvarna, one, because I've kind of grown up with that name in my head, and I really wanted the Husqvarna brand bike. Wanted that Husky. The other reason, obviously, is the white plastics. I like the way it looked, and I do wish that the Husqvarnas had the Brembo brakes as opposed to the Magura brakes, although they're both pretty sweet performing brakes. Zero issues with the Magura, except probably things that are my fault. I have a brake light switch on my front brake lever. It's not engaging my rear brake light, and not a huge deal. I just try to remember, if I'm on the highway, to use that rear brake to engage the light. We've kept the rear ends. The bikes are completely stock. We've kept them completely stock. Many reasons. One, I wanted to see how they perform right out the gate. I think we paid enough at one time to see what these things can do. The other reason is, really, these are the most well-equipped motorcycles right out of the gate that I've ever owned. Coming from CRFs, YZFs, YZ, CR. I'm always changing sprockets, trying to find that right ratio. I'm trying to upgrade parts, wheels, tires. I looked at this bike and I said, that's kind of the bike that I would want to build if I was building a bike from scratch. So we've left them completely stock. I do want to get some Cerebus hand guards, whatever they are. But these have treated us pretty good, actually, and replacement parts have been extremely cheap for the plastics on these bikes. I believe we're buying our parts on KTM Parts Pro. I've been able to buy, oil filters, fuel pumps, fuel filters, plastics, anything that I've needed, brake levers, cheaper than I've ever been able to buy motorcycle parts in my life. So I bought a really expensive dirt bike, but parts have been literally next to nothing for some of these parts that I'm getting. The only issue is where I live and UPS and the snow, and ordering things is almost a joke. It's a 50% chance it might show up to your post office or the front door. So that's the only thing that really keeps me from ordering a lot. I've got the rear ends stock turn signals, license plate holders, brake lights. That's the only thing I guess I've had issues with. It's flimsy, and I did fall one night in Moab on a night ride, and I think I tore turn signals off and the license plate mounting bracket. I got on the parts website, ordered some new parts, rebuilt it stock. Future plans, I guess I do want to change that rear end setup right now. I've got a turn signal out right now. I've got water getting into these lights, and I'm pretty sure the KTMs use the same lights. I'm going to be running down to the dealer later today or possibly tomorrow to see if they have any lights and parts for the lights. So as far as that goes, the tires, what do you call them? I always forget. 90/90s on the front. Looks like 120/90. Is that what it says? 120/90 on the rear. They have been great for on-road and off-road. So the style of riding we do, rough single track, dirt roads, highway riding, kind of a variety of everything that Colorado and Utah offers. These bikes haven't left Colorado or Utah, and the terrain in the Rocky Mountains is quite rocky. So for an example, a lot of you are probably familiar with Ouray, Silverton area. One morning we'd leave Ouray, grab some coffee on the way out, ride over to Silverton, over, Red Mountain Pass, $1 Million Highway. On the highway, ride to Silverton, grab some more coffee or lunch or whatever, and then go ride Engineer Pass, Hurricane Pass. Not the roughest riding we've done, but there's some technical lines in there if you choose to ride them. Take Engineer Pass back down into Ouray. So kind of a 50-50 day of road and mountain riding, trail riding. So these bikes being the 6-speed, they'll run 65 miles an hour. Yeah, it feels like you're about to take off, but they actually run 65 quite well. We've ridden them at 65 miles an hour. Oh, what's that little town in Utah? It's like probably about 50 miles west and south of Moab, and we came up on some trails and ended up in this little town. It's not even really a town, but we ended up riding Highway 91 back, and it runs from almost Durango, and then it gets on to 91 and all the way back to Moab, and we were riding on the highway at night. We were running about 70, 75, and there were a lot of 18-wheelers on the road, and a little bit intimidating, but we had these things wound out doing about 70, 75, and we were ready to get home after a long day of riding. You get the shakes. It is not a road bike by any means. Definitely in the future, we'll be getting maybe one of those big KTM 690s or some big dual sport bikes to do a little bit more touring on. But for our age and our riding style and what we wanted to conquer right now, we went with these bikes, which was a huge step for us. And then to get licensed, plated, was huge for us. We got our motorcycle endorsements, and I'm going to make sure this is still recording. Yep, we're still recording. So, as far as maintenance goes, how many miles do I have on this? Not a whole lot of miles. I'm right at 950 miles. We've had these bikes over a year, and not much more than that. And moving and remodeling, we haven't been able to get out as much as we'd like. As far as maintenance goes, I changed the oil after the first hour, or after the first ride on these bikes. We ride 4 Mile in Buena Vista, Colorado. 4 Mile, 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 we changed the oil after the first ride. Obviously check over a few little things. We had, right out the bat, both of our forks leaked just a little bit, just had some residue on there. We didn't have any issues with it. They quit leaking after a couple weeks or after a few rides, so I'm not really sure what that was about. And but it was nothing major. They're not leaking. I keep them really clean. Other maintenance besides oil changes, I've only had to tension the chain on this FE350 one time in 1,000 miles, and obviously easy to do, but 1,000 miles of really hard riding or really fast highway riding, which is not really designed to do, and have been pretty maintenance-free bikes. I have yet to check the valves yet. I've been watching a lot of YouTubes, and I appreciate, I can't remember the name on there, some guy, really thorough video of how to shim the valves. I've done it on other bikes. I just haven't dove into these yet. I haven't really wanted to, being a new bike and no issues. Talking about the two different bikes, the FE350 and the FE250. The 350 and the 250 are most similar bikes you can probably find on the market. Obviously, they're the exact same except for like the top end or whatever is bigger on the 350. As far as starting up the bikes in the cold, the FE350 sometimes takes a few primes of turn of the key. I've noticed it starts a lot easier. Turn the key on, turn it off, turn it back on, let the fuel pump or something prime it up, or it'll start right up. But the FE250 always starts up in any condition, and I'm glad about that because it's my wife's bike. Zero backfiring riding down the highway, zero backfires or sputtering going downhill and or down steep grades. Zero backfires. I've heard some other videos. I've watched a few other guys and read a few things that they're having some backfiring issues or kind of that sput when you're going down. Neither one of these bikes do that at all, so probably because they don't have a lot of miles, and I'd say that's probably a valve tolerance, a shim issue, but nothing too concerned about. I'm kneeling here in the dirt trying to get the sound a little bit better, trying to get a good shot of the bikes. Oh, what else? Riding the bikes. So on really tough single track riding, or let's say Pritchett Canyon in Moab, or any area in Moab that can be some tough sections, the 350 definitely has the power. I definitely am excited about my choice, but every now and then, which is very rare, if you ever watch some of my other videos of I'll have to upload some of them, I guess, of my wife riding. She's pretty much a better rider than me, and we just have our different skill sets. But every now and then I get on this 250 and help get it through an obstacle or something, and it's just like riding a smaller 250. What you can get it up is quite amazing. I mean, just less of that thump, just powering up, but it's more just crawls right up. It's more nimble, I guess would be the word. So besides that, there's not much difference. More power on the 350, getting up to speed on the highway. I'm into it. She gets into it, but not probably quite like I do every now and then. And on the straightaways and certain areas, I like going fast. So that's why I went with the 350. Growing up with 426, CRF 250s, YZF 250s, YZ250, CR250, CR80, and the best but not least, the XL 350 and the XL 250. Those Hondas, the old Honda XLs, you could ride anywhere. You never even really had to check the oil. I'm pretty sure they run on fairy dust or something. And you can ride those things anywhere on all the trails I've grown up riding and still ride. And they're like maintenance-free bikes. That's kind of what I was really hoping and expecting out of these bikes. It's not quite that, as you guys know, because of the power. What is it, like 47 horsepower? Correct me if I'm wrong. The FE350 is about 47 horsepower. And the maintenance on it is not of an XL Honda, but the performance is way beyond that. It's nice to be able to have a bike again because I have not since I was younger and growing up on the XL250 350, the orange and blue. Orange, one was orange, one was red, and we had an XL200 also. We were able to hop on, and that was when I was younger. You didn't even have to have motorcycle licenses or endorsements in Colorado or insurance. I think you had to have plates, but you just get on and ride. And that's what these bikes are all about. I may hop on later, ride from my door, and go on a good cruise. I can ride on the road, I can ride on the trail, and feel comfortably fine. The seat's not real comfortable, but coming from, used to be an avid mountain biker, and so if you can deal with a little mountain bike seat up your ass for 6 hours, you can sit on a motorcycle, no problem, on a hard seat. You just get used to it, and I'm not going to change anything about these bikes. I might go with a little bit of a more rugged tire eventually on these, but we don't know. I've been really impressed with these tires. We've made it through more sand, more climbs out in Moab, more trails than we've ever ridden, ever in my life on these smoother, slick, DOT-approved tires. Yeah, so that's it. Ask me questions. We'll be getting into some more maintenance videos when we get into this stuff. The wife's bike has a few more miles on it. Her Toyota Tacoma was down in the auto body shop for a while, and down for a while. And so she wanted to ride her motorcycle to work, and that's about 25 miles each way. Go for it. I'm not going to stop you. So she did a little commuting on that bike. I ride my bike into town when need be, just for fun. Pick up some beer or something. And so far, I could not have asked any more from Husqvarna about these bikes, except for the damn turn signals. They're cheap, they're chintzy, and I will be changing those out as well. But that's pretty easy, pretty low cost, and heck, I think I even have some replacement parts. I might just throw on some of the same ones for this year. I think they look good. I don't think it looks too bulky. Yeah, it does flop around in the back, the license plate holder sometimes, but it holds on there, it hangs on. It's not affecting the way I ride, so we're gonna leave that on there. Thank you for watching. Please ask questions. There will be more videos. Maybe I'll try to get my wife in on a video if she's around in the next few weeks, and we'll do a full review of her bikes and her opinion on the bike. We'll try to include some riding clips of these bikes, but I might just leave this video non-edited or very minimally edited, and if you're interested in some of our riding videos, I'll try to upload them. Our internet is next to nothing. My phone service is next to nothing, so it can take like 6 hours to load a freaking video onto YouTube. So I really do appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this does help out a little bit. Ask questions. Ride on. Bye.